I just want to give my final thoughts on Illinois and Indiana. Obviously, we did that in-depth preview a month or two ago, but there are definitely some things that we have learned now 3 weeks into the season that I did not know when we did that preview. So, yeah, I just want to talk about that and then just kind of my final thoughts because we still got about 8 minutes here tonight. The last 8 minutes I will get to spend with you guys before this game goes down, and I will be in Bloomington. I'm really excited to go. I'm also really nervous because, man, the stakes are high, and it's going to be real embarrassing to be there in my clunky Illinois football sweatshirt and they lose. I don't think that's going to happen. I am confident. But yeah, I will say it is the night game on NBC, as I just mentioned in the last segment. So 6:30 Central Time, 7:30 Eastern Time. That's also local time there. The current line, Indiana is 5.5-point favorites. I would take the points on the Illini there, even if they don't win. I don't think Indiana is going to be able to beat them by much more than that, would you? I would take the points there. The spread is also 52.5. These are two very defensive-minded teams. I think points are going to be very hard to come by on Saturday night. I would take the under on that as well. I can't bet on that for two reasons. I just want to clarify. One, because I can't bet on a state college in Illinois. And two, I will be out of state, so I can't even place a bet anyway. So I'm not doing anything illegal here. Nobody flagged me. I'm just saying that is, if I were, that's what I would do. Indiana's 3-0, obviously, and they're ranked 19th. Their first game was against Old Dominion. They won 27-14, which, yeah, it looks a little rough, but Old Dominion did just beat the crap out of Virginia Tech this past week. How about that? Virginia Tech is bad, right? They fired their coach immediately after the game. Well, whoa. Then we got Kennesaw State. They beat them 56-9. That is, I don't really care about that. And they beat Indiana State 73-0 last Friday night. This is only the second meeting ever between Illinois and Indiana, and it goes back a ways, that both teams are ranked heading into a matchup. The only other time was in 1950. So if this doesn't tell you how far both these programs have come to meet in this game on Saturday night and get you excited, then I don't know what does. There is some big injury news to talk about as well. First, on the Indiana side, their running back Lee Beebe Jr. is going to be out for the season, a non-contact knee injury, just about the worst couple words you could hear when it comes to injuries. He suffered against Indiana State. He was a transfer from UAB, and he was their second most involved running back. He had 27 carries, 209 yards. Kaleon Black is their starter. Still, he only had a couple more carries than him, though. It was really more of a timeshare situation. They're going to hurt without him in the run game, especially against this Illini pass rush and defensive line. That'll be tough for them to deal with. I'm interested to see what they're going to come up with to help soften the workload for Kaleon Black on Saturday night. The Illini injuries, of which there are quite a few. Brett Bielema took a lot of questions about those on Monday at a press conference. He said that both Lawfrey and Roysiak, who did not play last Saturday, are practicing this week and are expected to return on Saturday. He also said there's a good chance we will see defensive back Jaheim Clark back on the field at last. He's been battling a hamstring injury most of the season. And then the x-rays were negative on both of the two big injuries from the Western Michigan game, Xavier Scott and Justin Bowick. Both x-rays are negative, and both are expected to return to the field. So the Illini should be pretty dang close to full strength on Saturday night. Of course, those reports are all per Armchair Illini. So, I mean, here we are. We only got a couple more nights. We got 3 more nights until it comes. And I still attest, as I did say in February, when I started this channel and made my initial schedule predictions for the 2025 season. I still think the Illini take this one. And I'm trying to be show as little bias as possible, right? Because obviously I want the Illini to win that game. I still think they take it. My main reason being that this team has been together much longer than this Indiana team has. They have been running Bielema's offense, Bielema's defense, Bielema's whole system a couple extra years than Indiana has had Kirk Cignetti. And while I think Cignetti has done a great job there, it's only his second year there. This team, and he brought a lot of transfers with him as well, right? He really built this team. They have a new transfer quarterback as well, who's had to learn their offense. Illinois has not had to do such thing. And I overall, that experience, that sense of camaraderie and togetherness is really big for me. It may sound cliche, but I think that's really important, probably in football more than it is any other sport. It's just being on the same page and communicating with guys, right? And knowing the system. The Illini certainly have the advantage that way. I do also still hold the belief that Indiana is unproven against real competition, right? And I think it's unfair to them because, one, they don't make the schedule, right? And they deserved an easy schedule because they were bad the year before, right? That's oftentimes how it works in pretty much any sport, right? Because they want the better teams playing the better teams, then the worst teams play the worst teams. I still think they're unproven, but you have to, the only two ranked opponents that they did get last year were quite literally the national champ and the runner-up. And they played both of them on their road as well. And I know that they got smacked in both those games. The Notre Dame game looks closer than it was, right? They scored a lot of points in garbage time. They were getting blown out, and they were able to make that one look a little better, that final score, to bring it within 10. But so to be fair, they haven't had a test that wasn't a absolute top tier. Again, they literally played the best two teams in college football last year, right? Or at least the ones that made it to the championship. That might be an overstatement, but that's essentially what that's supposed to mean, right? So I also wouldn't be surprised if the Illini are trailing on this one early. Do not panic, because they're clearly a second half team, right? Especially actually being in person and just feeling the energy from the stadium now, which I obviously was unable to do the first 2 weeks. A night and day first half and second half. It was like, especially offensively, it was like watching a whole different offense in that second half. They were just absolutely dominant, where they looked pretty rusty in the first half, right? So you got to keep this within a score, right? Because Indiana has been a very first half heavy team, right? They love to put points on the board. They put up 45 on Indiana State before the half, right? They love to run up that score, and you just can't let them do that too much, right? The defense is going to be key. You keep them within a score at half, and I'll be happy. I'll feel okay at halftime. Even if they're down a full touchdown, I will still have every confidence in Bret Bielema, because he's shown that so far this season, right? Indiana hasn't really had to deal with that. They've just really blown out pretty much everyone they've played, with a couple exceptions, and haven't really had to play many close second halves. Illinois has been in that situation a couple times over the past few years. So I think overall it's just that second half grit and the second half adjustments that the Illini have had, especially on the offensive end. I do think they catch them. The key is, though, where they lose this is let that score get out of hand, because as we know, the Hoosiers love to run up that scoreboard. So you have to be careful and make sure that you're not down by, honestly, any more than a score. Because like I said earlier, I think points are going to be really hard to come by on Saturday night. I think any comeback of 10 or more is going to be really hard to pull off. Or I guess 9 or more. But I think it's going to be tough. but I still think the Illini do take it. They're a second half team. Indiana just hasn't really faced this level of competition, really, minus a couple, hiccups for them. And Illinois has just made great second half adjustments too. And in Brett Bielema, I trust, right? He has not really steered us wrong. I believe in him. And I think that defensive line is going to be a problem for Fernando Mendoza as well. Just before I hopped on, I was watching some of his touchdown passes, his highlights from that Indiana State game, and he's just standing in that pocket. Which, yeah, you can do that against Indiana States, but he does like to take his time back there a little bit. And the Illinois is definitely going to rush him. I'm not saying that he's just going to take a bunch of sacks. I don't think he is. But they're definitely going to speed up his internal clock. This is one of the best pass rushes in the entire country. And I think it's going to be a bit of a shock for him and the Hoosiers as well. Especially Illinois coming in this game as underdogs, even though they're ranked 9th. I think Indiana better watch out. But it's going to be a great game either way. And I do think the Illini take it, but it's very possible that Indiana wins this game, right? I don't think that would be a surprise either way. I would only be surprised if there was a blowout, right? If Indiana killed Illinois or if Illinois hopefully does the same, that would surprise me because I think this game is going to be really close. That's why that 5.5 point line really surprised me. So I feel like this is going to be within a field goal. But yeah, I am well over time tonight. So I will let y'all get your sleep or whatever it is you do, eat your dinner. I got to eat my dinner. Illinois and Indiana, the biggest game this program has had in years, is on Saturday night, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. If you're going to be there in Bloomington, come say hi to me. I will be wearing my college game day hat and an Illinois sweatshirt, so I shouldn't be too hard to find, as I will stick out like an orange sore thumb in that sea of red. It's going to be a red out. I think Illinois fans will travel pretty well, though. I think we'll travel decently. We always do.